My name is Praedyth, and I was a member of Kabir's fire team. I just hope someone good.
We can hear you, Praedyth. Welcome back to Praedyth's Party Chat. This is Ethan.
And I'm Taylor.
And today we're just gonna kind of jump into what the future of Destiny really looks like. I think just the overall picture of what we've seen lately and the renewal from next-gen updates.
Right, yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about rewards, the return of Joe Blackburn, all that kind of exciting stuff this week. So
it feels like they're kind of setting a foundation for the future of all of it. So
Today's topic
is the future.
Yep.
Let's just say that.
Sure.
I think that's a good one. Let's start with next gen updates.
Yeah, so we both have PlayStation 5s.
Mm-hmm.
We're both lucky enough to have, I should say we're both lucky enough to have PlayStation 5s.
Right.
And man,
It's way better.
it's amazing.
That field of view
it's
slider,
amazing.
man.
Oh, the FOV, the frames. I'm just zipping around on my Warlock, just Icarus dashing everywhere and just
man.
popping off. I mean, it is so fun.
It's
so
awesome.
fun.
It's just, I mean, it's slick. Like, it's amazing what that 60 frames does for you. Because, I mean, yeah, you can reach to 120 on
Crucible.
but also on PC, you can kind of hit those max frames, like
Right.
144 or even higher, depending on your rig. But I think looking at it from this perspective of that doubling from 30 to 60 is exponentially better.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, once you get 60 to 120, you see the difference.
Yeah.
But it starts becoming lesser and lesser because of what your eyes can handle.
Right.
But when you see that jump,
Oh man, the initial jump from 30 to 60 for so many people who have never experienced it before will be like, holy crap, no reason streamers play this game on PC because this is way better. Like this is way better.
It's amazing. I think looking at what it is right now with the HDR and the coloring you get from a lot of TVs and the brightness, just the quality of imagery from the 4K 60 that you're getting on a TV versus something like a 1440p PC, which is great, which is what we usually play on when we do our clips.
Right.
Is great. But that experience of like that high fidelity and the frame rate is just awesome.
Yeah, the return to your couch, the hanging out, the bigger screen, the full immersion from your sound system is just like, it's different than playing on a PC.
I wish they had
really
taken
is.
advantage of the adaptive controller though.
And
they don't really.
I think they will, and I think it
Eventually.
will come with Witch Queen. Well, when they
maybe.
leave the old generation behind, I think Witch Queen will be when they leave PlayStation 4 and that kind of stuff.
I mean,
behind.
that could be true.
Yeah.
I mean that you can feel it a little bit in the vibration. There's a little bit of difference from what it was a few
but
weeks
nothing
ago,
crazy.
but nothing out there. And I wanna feel the tension of my bow.
Yeah.
Do you think they're holding back maybe because of the competitiveness of something like Crucible?
No, I don't think so. No.
I mean, you can turn it off on the PlayStation 5 settings,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they could throw it in there and just remind people you can turn it off if you don't like it.
Right.
But I would love to feel the tension of a bow or the launch of a rocket launcher.
Oh yeah.
You know, or something like, think of the beam, how a beam from a trace rifle would feel.
Yeah.
Like if you were shooting.
If it starts from like the bottom of the controller, it kind of
moves
like,
up, or even from the adaptive triggers perspective. Man, I can't say all that. Thinking about what's the void one? I can't think of the name of it.
Ruinous Effigy?
No, not Ruinous Effigy.
Wave Splitter.
Wave Splitter. Wave Splitter is amazing because you kind of have that fluctuation of power moving through it. So imagine if your trigger, you felt it kind of moving in and out on you. You know, the resistance was changing.
That would be cool.
I mean, there's a lot of potential with that, and I think
tons.
I think Bungie was planning on doing this more for the visual fidelity of things.
Oh, totally.
So I can't blame them for not doing it right away. But like you said, maybe it'll come in Witch Queen.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll be when we kind of transition out of the last.
Absolutely.
I do think you're right though. We're going to transition out of the last gen at Witch Queen, which makes me the most excited for Witch Queen because I think it'll take the game into a whole new arena of what's capable.
Right. I think so too. I think it'll be kind of be like, okay, yeah, this is what Destiny can really be in a next gen expansion.
Well, and I wonder how that'll affect the supers.
Yeah. Oh, just everything.
Yeah.
Like how
we
it'll
talked
affect
about
everything.
before with some of the decay and everything.
The raid
like that.
mechanics, the mission mechanics, all that kind of stuff.
What
kind of
kinda
move into that?
Really relying on the SSD to provide some interesting stuff.
Right.
And now the weird crossover there is what are they going to do with PC? Are they going to change the system requirements? Are they going to have people on old PC versions?
I mean, I think
have to keep the old version and have to have certain things that update to it.
I think right now there's a lot of games that are doing that, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, hey, it's time for you to kind of update your PC if you're playing Destiny.
Well, even to play on high settings, barely high settings, not even ultra for the new for Cyberpunk 2077, you need a 3070 to play ray tracing.
Gotcha.
Which is pretty wild that they're already requiring something like that, because those are almost impossible to get.
Gotcha.
So I mean, that's a good example of that. Yeah, things do push the envelope.
And I think they kind of will with Witch Queen for the first time. They'll be like, hey, it's time for you to update your PC. You haven't updated your PC since we started Destiny 2, so it's time.
Right. Well, maybe that brings.
We
up
updated consoles. Why not have the PC players have to update a little bit?
I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think final question on the next gen updates in the future of that kind of stuff is, what do you think about Destiny 3? Do you think it's going to happen?
No.
Really?
No, I don't. I don't think.
Do you think they're going to change the name from Destiny 2
I hope
to
they
Destiny?
change from Destiny 2 to like Destiny. Just straight Destiny.
I think one thing I think that they should do and should think about when they do move on to next gen updates with Witch Queen and stuff like that beyond that, or even beyond Lightfall, is really allowing people to kind of download, not worry about the download size as much.
Yeah.
And allow it to be everything from everything that Destiny's ever had.
Right. And I think they're slowly doing that.
Compelling.
I think they're slowly doing that. Yeah.
I think they're going to get rid of the vault at some point.
Right. Yeah, I think so too.
And expect people to have, 100 to 150 gigabytes of Destiny, because it is a commitment to play Destiny.
Oh yeah. And the guys and the people who want to commit to it will happily commit 150 gigs to it. If it means they can play
stuff,
Vault of Glass and King's Fall and Wrath of the Machine and Crota's End and all those amazing raids and all that old content that we all know is coming back. I think if Destiny was like, Bungie was like, hey, you need to have 150 gigs of space, I think we would all be like, yeah, dude, I can clear space on my PlayStation 5 to have room for that.
I definitely would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, that kind of brings us
nicely to Joe Blackburn's little piece on Tuesday.
Yeah, just the future of what is the idea of what Destiny's going to become in the next few years. And I think they had a lot of cool stuff in terms of listening to the community and actually applying that. This is the first time
they spent a lot of time talking about rewards, which is what we've been wanting to hear about.
And I think this is the first time I felt like the community directly impacted what they're going to do with the game.
I agree. And just as a side note, it's cool to see Joe Blackburn back.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really cool.
I mean, it was a little bit nerve-wracking to see him go, because he was the mind behind a lot of the raid teams, really high-quality stuff.
Yep. And so it's cool to see him back.
Yeah.
So we're not going to talk on everything that Joe Blackburn talked about, because
there's
quite a few things that he talked about. We just want to talk about a couple of the highlights, like 2 weapons per playlist starting next season.
That's fantastic.
Right? They're adding 2 weapons for Strikes, 2 weapons to Gambit, and 2 weapons to Crucible, which I'm hoping that means they're specific to that mode. Like they're gonna be oriented towards with their perks. Like, hey, this is gonna be a really good Gambit weapon. This is gonna be a really good Crucible weapon. Saying. You know what I mean? Like the perks in this these weapons are gonna be good for whatever they drop. I hope so. I don't know.
I think unfortunately I haven't seen them do that very often.
No, that's true.
I think unfortunately they've let this pool. I think that's one thing that's still kind of plagued Destiny, is this idea that every weapon has to have random rolls. Every weapon has to have this big selection of perks. I think there should be a lot less perks that can can on a gun.
I think that's what I like about the raid weapons.
Yeah, there's a lot smaller pool of choices.
There's only 6 weapons per 6 perks per column that you can get. So a lot smaller than most.
Right. Because I like the fact that some of them have like 10 scopes, there's 10 of this, and they can roll. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, nuts.
Why do that?
Yeah.
It makes that, I mean, like they're trying to make that gun feel like you can hunt for it, but it's like, it's to the point where that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of stuff.
And on the subject of guns, they did say they were going to hire more people to have more guns in future expansions, which I think was huge.
Yeah, finally putting more people on just the rewards team, because I think that is something that they've struggled with a little bit here, is that like they create great content, but the rewards within that content has been a little bit lacking, not in terms of quality, but in terms of quantity.
But I think it means they're going to go back to having full sets of weapons and raids.
That's what I'm excited about.
You know what I mean? Like, I am super bummed that there was not like a legendary rocket launcher for this raid.
Yeah.
Or
the fact that the only heavies are a sword and a LMG.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real bummer. I mean, you get the exotic rocket launcher.
Yeah, which I guess that makes up for it.
But there's still no grenade launcher.
There's no pulse rifle.
Fusion rifle. There's no pulse rifle. There's no SMG.
Yep, no SMG. I mean, it's just like, okay, I mean, there's a couple of things that they told me,
Yeah.
and there's no fusion rifle. I think, a Deep Stone Crypt fusion rifle would have been sick.
That would have been amazing. Fusion rifles need some help, man.
Yeah, they do need some help.
They're on the same level at this point as rocket launchers.
They are in PvE.
Yeah,
In
PvE.
PvP, they're
still,
okay.
Yeah,
they're good.
they're not really a go-to. I mean, you can pop Telesto out if you want to, and do okay, but they're not. Shotguns can still dominate over the top of them, or snipers even.
Yep. But they also talked about Adept Strike Loot, which I think we even talked about this a while ago, that they were going to do Adept weapons probably in strikes after talking about it in
That's
Trials.
what we said about Grandmaster. Yeah, we were saying just put Adept weapons in it, and they did it.
And they did that. And actually, it sounds like you'll be able to like kind of farm them. I'm guessing on double Nightfall weeks, you'll be able to get like maybe 2 drops of.
Right.
And we have to talk about the weapons that they're bringing back.
Right.
Palindrome, Shadow Price, and Swarm.
Yeah.
Like some Destiny 1 favorites, which I actually... how do you feel about bringing back old Destiny 1 guns?
I was actually going to bring up that Aztecross video that he talks about with the kind of bringing back some of the old classics. I'm all on board for it.
Me too.
I really don't mind.
I don't either. Like
I would love to have a hung jury again.
I was just about to say the same thing. I would love to see a hung jury again. Yeah. Those guns, you had attachments to them.
They're going to bring hung jury back with... Once they do, I think Witch Queen is going to bring back what we see from... the factions. I think we're going to finally see factions in which I don't think we're going to see it in the seasons. I think they're holding it until the next expansion, but I think it's going to be a big return, and I think they're going to be just like they were in Destiny 1.
I mean, that would be a cool piece of content.
Yeah,
sure.
I would love to see them bring it back and have it more like this thing. You commit to something and you get all of that stuff, and then maybe every season you can change. So then they kind of have that. They still can do that thing where it's like you pick one and that's all you get.
Yeah.
But every season you get a refresh. Where now, if it looks like the pool from Future Death Call, or
Future War Call,
Future Death Call. I went a little dark there.
Whoa.
The Future War Call. What I would love to see from them is like if I like the pool, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go Future War Call this season.
Yeah.
Then maybe next season, oh, Dead Orbit's got some cool stuff.
Yep.
Oh, New Monarchy almost had me, but I'm never gonna go to New Monarchy.
Yeah, never going to New Monarchy except for the shaders.
Yeah, the only thing they have is the shaders. Unfortunately, that medieval style is just not up my alley.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, the Joe Blackburn article was super cool. There was a lot of cool stuff in there. Vault of Glass is coming back.
Right.
They reiterated that, which, I mean, we'll talk about this a little bit later when we talk about the seasons, but I'm excited for Vault of Glass to come back.
Yeah, we've talked about that in a few other episodes before this, but
and I hope there's a day 1 raid emblem, because I feel like that I finally will actually get one. That would be cool.
Yeah,
I know how that raid works.
That's interesting. I think that's interesting. Do you think they're gonna make it? This brings up just a topic about raids in the future in general. Do you think they're gonna make it similar enough that people can, like, on day 1 raid, it's gonna be like a real race because people know what they're doing?
I don't know if they will do a raid because somebody already got the Vault of Glass world first.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that they will do a world's first again for Vault of Glass.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
that's kind of what I think. But I think they will still do a day 1 raid emblem.
No, I absolutely.
And I think that would be super cool if they did that.
Yeah. Well, it brings up what we brought up a while ago, which was the idea of putting the oracles in all different locations.
Right.
Like things like that, which can
like minor changes.
Throw people for a loop. We're like, oh, shoot.
Yep.
Got to figure that out.
Yeah. Super cool. And then let's talk about Trials. Trials is finally coming
another
back.
pinnacle activity outside of raids.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's been way too long.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's crazy. I mean, it's not Bungie's fault. I mean,
no,
these people that just like to manipulate these systems and just try to find.
Oh yeah.
Their whole point is just trying to find ways
loopholes.
that they can mess up the game. I hate those people, man. Get out of here. Nobody. People who actually enjoy the game are gonna go do that.
And there are people like Cheese Forever that do it right. They're like, hey, I reported this bug to Bungie a couple of weeks ago. You guys will see that it's like starting to get some traction now, so I'm gonna like make a video about it and share with you guys like how to like avoid that bug. So if you see someone doing this in an activity, make sure you know like how to protect yourself, and this is how they're actually doing it, so that you know if you see them doing it, this is how you can stay away from it, that kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, Cheese Forever, like he's all about the glitches and that kind of stuff, but he's not about like breaking the game.
Well, and
you know what I mean?
He makes it public right away.
Yeah, and he makes it public right away. Well, actually, he probably talks to Bungie first. He probably is like, hey,
I bet
you guys
they
know
got
about
like
this?
a secret line going on.
Yeah.
But I think what it comes down to is that Trials is coming back. And people are going to be excited about that, which brings up the idea of, adept weapons for trials. What do you think they're going to be? I mean, what kind of perks are you expecting? Or I guess not perks, but mods.
The mods. They said that, I'm guessing, I think it's in the API already, but there's like a flat range buff of like 15 or something like that you can get, which is nuts. Which sucks because there's no like trials hand cannon.
Yeah.
So that would be just crazy. You can get like aim assist or something like that. And there's some other weird ones. I don't know. I think they'll be pretty cool. And I'm excited to see those mods and how those weapons perform, just to get an idea of how the Nightfall ones will be.
Right.
I think that's the main reason why I'm excited to see the adept weapons.
I'm curious because I think the Nightfall mods will actually be pretty cool because I think a lot of it will have to do with making the perks on the guns better.
Yeah.
Because I think like it's hard to apply perk mods for PvP stuff because you don't want to make stuff overpowered.
Yeah.
You know? And so when in PvE, giving a mod to a gun like something that you get in PvE,
right, or in
the Nightfalls, is fine because you can make it feel ridiculous and really good. Because for instance, if you gave something like a perk like let's say you have Rampage on the LMG,
right,
and you give it a specific Rampage perk that makes Rampage double your damage, triple your damage, depending on how much you have. And you're just it's like a better Rampage.
Sure.
It doesn't really make a difference in PvP.
No.
Because you're going to, once you get that Rampage stack, you're already overkill on people.
Right. And
it's a heavy weapon.
Right. So you're not getting that much ammo on it.
Yeah. And also you're already going to slap people with a heavy weapon anyway.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So I think that there's going to be more freedom with those mods, but I'm interested to see these range perks. I think a lot of these things will be extensions on the trials weapons. Extensions of what we see with something like a masterworked version.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because it does add 2 to each category, which is cool.
Right.
And I'm wondering if
that part is the coolest part to me.
Yeah, me too. And I think I am interested to see if the mods that you get on adept weapons will actually carry over to the strike weapons. Like if you'll be able to apply just adept weapon mods from category to category, or if those are just straight up trials adept mods and then you have your Nightfall adept mods. Because if they separate them and you can only apply them to certain things, they can make them more unique. Right. Like that means adept raid weapons could be crazy for the raid.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think I think that they maybe should balance it based on singular adept weapons. You know what I mean? I breaking out and putting trials ones on PvE ones again. Like I said, then the PvE ones might not feel as potent.
They'll be more neutered. They'll just be a bit more neutered.
Yeah, I think everything should be pretty separate.
I think so too. And if you want a really good adept like Crucible gun, okay, go flawless in trials. That's the whole point. Is like you want a really good PvP gun, go to trials.
Right.
And get a weapon from there. If you want a really good PvE gun, go to the Nightfall and try and get the new adept weapons in there. Except Palindrome is going to be used heavily in PvP.
Well, and something I think that's interesting is they're not going to get rid of pinnacle weapons.
No.
Or, well, I guess ritual weapons now. Which those are kind of the middle ground. Yeah. Where it's like, okay, you want something that's pretty good in most places?
Yep.
Go for the ritual.
Go get the ritual.
You can't go flawless in trials?
Yeah.
Get the ritual.
Yep.
Like Adored.
Yep.
It slaps in PvP.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. But
it's awesome.
It also hits pretty hard in PvE.
Yeah.
So it's like
triple tap and Vorpal. It's great.
It's
great
a good
utility.
Combo. Right.
Yeah.
So
it's not the best at everything, but it's really good at both.
Right. So I think that's the middle ground where it's like, yeah, we're still giving the people who can't get these pinnacles. You can get the pinnacle in one area, but then you still get this ritual weapon that's helpful for when you step and dip your toes into anything else. Which kind of brings us into what the idea of a good weapon really is.
Yeah,
and let's talk about Hawkmoon.
They knocked it out of the park, in my opinion, with Hawkmoon this week. Everybody knows Hawkmoon, or if you don't know, back in Destiny 1, Hawkmoon had a perk called Luck in the Chamber, which is where somewhere randomly within your mag, you could get a bullet that did a crazy amount of damage, and you could one-tap someone from a long ways away. Well, that's not how it works in Destiny 2. Bungie doesn't really like random damage perks anymore. So what I like is they reward precision. Like, the mag is small intentionally, 8 shots. It's got incredible aim assist. It's got the highest aim assist in the game. because they're trying to help you out a little bit.
Right.
And it feels amazing. I mean, Hawkmoon to me, it was my first exotic in Destiny 1. And I just have such a special place for it in my heart, and for it to come back in this way is amazing. I mean, it is awesome. I love it so much, being able to get one bangs. It's so good.
Yeah, I think they got to the point of like the fantasy of the gun.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is all about this really patient, intense light bearer.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And I love that idea of giving that to them, because it's like this, it reward, like you said, it rewards precision, it rewards patience, and it rewards skill.
Yeah.
It's all about people who liked Hawkmoon in Destiny 1 liked the feeling of it being a long-range heavy hitter.
Yeah.
That has not gone away.
Nope.
They've just made it something that you have to earn rather than something that you're just given.
Then you're just given. And I love that so much, because it's actually probably such an easy starter hand cannon for people who aren't very good at hitting their headshots right now. Go use Hawkmoon. You'll see a lot more success with
especially with the 60 frames.
Right. Yeah. And but it's got such a high skill ceiling to where you're playing around with the mag. It's like a little mini game where you're trying to get your paracausal shot stacks up. Yeah, it's kind of fun to try and like get to, okay, I'm at 5. I'm going to get down to my last 2 shots, and I'm going to try and 2-shot this next person.
Well, and it hits like a truck in PvE too.
And that was like, and I was going to say, the perk is so perfect because they can make it incredible in PvE. I mean, people 2-phase Taniks with Hawkmoon, which is like, that's awesome. It's like Outbreak, you know. And I used to use Hawkmoon in everything when I was playing D1. Like I used it in PvP, PvP. I never took it off.
Yeah, I mean, I think the beauty of something like that is it's a perk that makes it hard to use, but still utilizes in other areas. I mean, I think that's
perfectly balanced.
When you're gonna do a gun that essentially Hawkmoon is one of those guns that's just a really good hand cannon.
Yeah,
and usually I don't like those. We talked about that on the show before. That usually I'm not a fan of just making a really good version of a weapon type.
Right.
But this one is like, it's really good if you're good with it.
Yep.
Like there's still that kind of side quality that
it still takes skill, and it has an exotic perk that takes it from being just an incredibly good statistically hand cannon to being an exotic.
And it also removes some of that, like, oh, it's an exotic and it's really good, but you still got to get random rolls.
Right.
Which brings back the randomness, which is something we wanted to talk about a little further.
Right.
The getting something like the random perks on that, we don't want to see this on other guns at all.
Don't want to see
exotics.
this on any other exotic ever.
But I think Bungie knows that. I mean, like we talked about, this is the replacement of the idea of randomness from Destiny 1.
And we've seen other exotics come out this season that don't have random perks. You know what I mean? So I think we can assume that it's literally just the randomness of Hawkmoon. They wanted to have it in there in some way. Yeah.
Which takes us to the idea of like, how do we earn these?
Right.
You know, and so we're thinking with this data mined random, or this data mined quest, heroic version of the final quest of retrieving Hawkmoon. We're thinking that maybe this is a repeatable activity that's on top of the hunts that kind of gives you the chance to get certain types of stuff.
To rerun to get your chances at getting a rangefinder Hawkmoon, or an opening shot Hawkmoon, or a killing wind, or a snapshot, or whatever.
Right. No one wants that snapshot.
Nobody wants snapshot. Everybody wants opening shot or rangefinder. Come on, just give it to me.
Killing wind could be kind of fun.
Killing
wind
too, could be good. Killing wind
if you get that one tap and then just sprinting away.
That could be good.
Fun.
Which Hawkmoon. I mean, I think they did an awesome job with the quest, with the crow dialogue, getting to see his nest and stuff, and like getting to like approach everything that was in his room.
I know, that's I did all of that.
His pooping bucket.
Yeah, it was all great, and then like some of it was references back to it, and the fact that you can hear the discouragement in his voice about Guardians.
I know.
The voice actor
and
for
how
Aldrin,
broken he was by like, man, people hate me.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful story because the voice actor has done such a great job of changing Aldrin's pompous voice and his attitude towards people to this remorseful,
almost innocent. Like, I don't understand what I did. I know I did something wrong.
Right.
Yep.
It's perfect, and it really shows the quality of what Bungie puts into their stories when they actually do it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people have talked about this, that this is how all exotic stories, all exotic quests should really be.
That's great.
I mean, you can't do it for all of them. I mean, I'll take this and a mission like, whatever the one was for Outbreak Prime, Perfected. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
what was
a
that?
random mission is just like a secret mission.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like that. What was that called? It's called something.
0 hour.
0 hour. There it is. Yeah. Something like that would be great. And speaking of exotic missions, I'm glad to see Whisper of the Worm and Fellwinter's in the kiosk.
Yep, they talked about that. That was another thing Joe Blackburn talked about. And we should also talk about crossplay. Obviously, that's a huge deal.
That's a huge deal.
Yep, and DDoS protection.
Sure. I mean, these are all just additions that they put on there, which really brings us to the idea of this whole future thinking of Destiny. From Joe Blackburn's update, we really see that things like Hawkmoon, this is what they want to do in the future. Rewards. They want to add more adept weapons. They want to add more rewards. They're bringing more stuff back from the vault.
Yep.
They realize they kind of tone it back too much. They're adding more people to the team to give us more weapons in future expansions.
And I think if they're bringing back awesome D1 weapons, I don't think anyone's going to care.
No.
Because you know they're going to cherry pick just the best ones.
Right.
They're not going to bring back some no-name gun that we have never heard of before from D1. Like, they're only going to bring the best stuff back.
Like Kvastov.
Hey, that's in the game already.
I know.
You can go get one from your New Light Guardian. Go get one from Aztecross, the NPC.
Yeah. I just want the exotic back because it's just, I know it wasn't the best exotic in the game. I know that. But I just love the idea that it was so weird that like this can be whatever you want it to be.
Well, like our clan has already decided that we're going to, once everybody gets to 1260, we're going to go do the New Light because it drops a powerful Kvastov and you can get a 1260 Kvastov.
Really?
Yeah. And so we're going to do a DSC, Deepstone Crypt, with just Kvastov.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, with Kvastov as your kinetic weapon.
Man,
so
I got to talk to you guys more often. There you go. PC. Now that console's actually worth going back to.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be on there more often.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to do a Kvastov Deepstone Crypt.
That sounds great.
You'll have to be part of it.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
But,
DDoS protection, which I think we're going to see a bunch of YouTube streamers come back to their roots, which was, console, and I think that's super cool.
Especially with the 60 frames because you can't really stream higher than that anyway. So what's the point of streaming it out like that? I mean, yeah, you get more of an intense thing, but I mean, if you get an HDMI 2.1 capable television or monitor and you plug it in, you're running at 120 frames on Crucible anyway.
Yep.
So that's the only place you really need that competitive frame rate.
Right.
So why not go back to console?
Yep.
I mean,
why
people
not?
like Aztecross started on Xbox.
Yep.
So it's to see people talking about this and actually enjoying console again is a huge boon. And
it's awesome.
And the SSDs on both on Xbox and PlayStation 5
are incredible.
I mean, it's faster than most you can get.
It really
on PCs,
is, and it's
pretty fast.
so much cheaper. You know, the entry level for these consoles is so much lower than the entry level for a PC.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like even to build something with the capabilities of these custom parts that are put into both consoles, you're not looking at anything less than $1,000.
Right, and it's like
at least
that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, PC is capable of a lot of other things, but if you're just a gamer, like, what's the point of having all the other stuff?
Nope, exactly.
So I'm really happy to see consoles take advantage of this and become more like capable PCs.
Oh, totally. And I think we've all been waiting for this leap. This is a leap.
It is a
leap. It's a leap.
It's a performance leap. Like, I don't care about graphics anymore, really.
No,
like,
it's not about what looks the most realistic anymore. It's about how does it perform? What's the performance now?
Yeah.
Yep.
And art styles in games like Destiny, like if you even look back at something like Reach. Let's just talk about the backwards compatibility of Xbox just for a second. You look back at something like that Bungie's done. They're very good with their art styles and very good at making their games feel timeless. If you go back to play on PC right now or on the new Xbox Reach, which is running at 120 frames on both, it's incredible. Yeah. It looks like it's a fantastically done game. The way they mix realism with this kind of muted artistic style keeps their games alive for so long. That's why Destiny still looks as good as it did on day one. It looks amazing. You know?
It's amazing.
Even if I go back and play Destiny 1, it still feels great. It's something we didn't really see that much of in Destiny 1 was seasons.
Right. And
so this progression of forward thinking is something we want to talk about now.
Right, absolutely. And so we just kind of want to very vaguely just kind of talk about what we think the next 3 seasons are going to look like. Season 13, season 14. I think we're getting a pretty good idea of what season 13 is going to be. To me, it sounds like it's going to be a season kind of centered on strikes and, the core playlist of strikes, like refreshing it, giving it adept weapons, Grandmaster Nightfalls, adding more weapons to those playlists.
Right.
And I'm assuming they're going to spice it up because they are adding 2 more strikes, Fallen Saber and...
Sepix
Sepix.
Perfected.
Well, not
Prime.
Sevix Perfected, but
Sevix
Sevix
Prime.
Prime. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sevix Prime. So they're either adding those two, which should be good. And then I think they're going to do more stuff with,
By the way,
with strikes, hopefully.
Sevix Prime. People are wondering about the catalyst for things that we can't do anymore. 0 hour we can't do anymore, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to put it in Sevix.
That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would totally make sense.
Because he was perfected in Rise of Iron. That's
Yeah.
where we first got it. So
Yeah.
I think that would be a good place to put the catalyst in.
Yeah, that'd be a great place to put it.
Yeah.
Season 14, I think, will be Crucible, or we both think will be
Yeah.
Crucible oriented, because that's when the Trials loot refresh will happen. So
Yeah.
it seems like that's a good time to give they need to give a completely focused Crucible season.
They haven't done it in too long.
They need to bring Rift back.
They really haven't done it.
They've never.
Long time.
I don't think they've really done a Crucible. I
Yeah.
think they need to do a Crucible-oriented season where it's like, hey, here's 10 maps,
Yeah.
and here's 8 new just Crucible weapons, and here's Rift back. Good God,
Right.
can you finally give us Rift? Like, can you please?
Just other game modes in general.
Yeah, and a new Trials of Osiris map and a new Trials of Osiris loot pool, because that's what they're going to do next year. And so I'm excited to see what D2 Trials armor will look like.
Yeah.
I hope they do something fresh and they don't pull something from D1. But if they do pull something from D1, make it the year 3 armor. Don't do year 2.
Yeah, year 2 is not good.
Yeah. But
It's-
year 3 with the ornaments is
it fantastic.
mwah.
And just have, when you go flawless, just have the ornaments on top of the adept weapons and people love it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you want to talk about what you think season 15 will be?
Yeah, we're just looking at Gambit, and just hoping that there's some revitalization of what it is as a whole. Because I mean, right now they pulled it back to the point where it's like, you do it because you have to.
You need the pinnacle
and it's
drop.
quick, and you need the pinnacle drop. There's just some missing stuff there.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
It just kind of feels barren. They
and
don't
we'll
have any maps. It's 3 maps now.
Right.
Like, ugh.
I know. I think we're gonna talk a little more about it next week.
Yeah.
Just our perspective of what Gambit really is.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be something we bring up alongside the Dawning.
Yep. And obviously the Dawning starts next week, so that's kind of exciting.
So we'll be talking about
See
next
if anything
week.
cool.
But let's jump back here now that we've kind of described each of these seasons.
Sure.
And look at what season 13 with these strikes coming back brings me to a point where I want to see more and more of Destiny 1 strikes come back. So in the future, if you saw them come back and bring back certain ones for certain places, what would you like to see first?
Oh, I want to see the Nexus come back from Venus. If they're gonna bring Vault of Glass back, bring Venus.
Yeah.
I want to see.
I bet that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I want to see all those come back. Because the monitors turned on in the moon, in all of the lost sectors, and they say Venus on them and Ishtar Collective, which it's like, that's totally a hint towards Venus. Because if Vault of Glass is coming back, they better bring Venus too.
Yeah, I bet they'll bring back all of the strikes from that. What else was on Venus? There was maybe
the Fallen one. Was that Taniks? Yeah, Taniks.
Taniks is on
Wasn't
Venus?
Taniks' ship on Venus?
I thought he was on Mars. Let me look it up real quick. Think of other strikes that you're curious about while I look this up.
Val Tuark or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Valkaur. No, Valkaur is whatever. Yeah, we've started this war on Mars. Obviously, I want to do that, but I want to see the Darkblade come back. I think that's one of the best strikes Bungie's ever made, and the brothers, the Shield brothers.
They're definitely gonna bring back the Dreadnought and Witch Queen.
Yeah, they have to. I definitely want to see all those strikes come back. I would like to see them bring.
Taniks is on the moon.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it totally is.
I totally spaced on
yeah,
that.
it totally is. Oh
Well,
yeah,
we could
100% it's on the moon.
We could bring back Taniks on the moon then. Same with the Summoning Pits.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to see the Summoning Pits.
Summoning
come back.
Pits is fantastic, especially because it was originally an encounter for the original raid that they were planning.
For the original King's Fall. Yep.
Right. Which was going to include Crota in it. I mean, that would have been a mind-blowing raid.
That would have been a crazy long raid. That would have been like a 4-hour raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little too long.
I think they realized this is not.
We're not. Wow.
Yeah,
we're not
this
World
is not
of Warcraft.
This is not World of Warcraft. Our game can't have that. Yeah, I think they should bring back the Daybreak modifier.
Yeah.
Like where it's just like supers all the damn time.
Yeah. Why don't they do that? I like. There's some things like that with Rift, the Daybreaker, Sparrow Racing. These are all just fun, weird things they did that Destiny 2 feels like it just threw those out the window.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't
these
have
fun,
any of those weird fun things.
Yeah, just go over the top sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a fun reason to get back in every once
Scorch
in a while.
cannons, but they haven't really done anything with like those weird playlists that they thought they were going to try in Crucible Labs. Like what the hell happened? Yeah, bring that back in season 14, Crucible Labs.
Yeah.
Give us some weird playlists.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're not trying some of those things. Which brings us to Season 14.
Season 14, yep.
Which is, Crucible just really needs more stuff to do.
They just need more maps.
They just need more maps, and they need
probably,
1 or 2 more modes.
Like, I would say bring 3 modes. Like
3.
Like,
over time.
Yeah, I think, make...
Rift is obviously
one of them. What was that scavenger? What was that one?
Oh, the one where you deactivate the other person's thing.
No, not that one.
Oh,
it's in
I was
D1.
Say that one's not great.
In D1, I can't remember.
Yeah, that's fine. But
and then a new mode. Come up with a new mode.
Yeah,
like do something new.
I would love to see a mode akin to, like something like an original kind of Halo idea, where basically weapons are on the map.
No, yeah,
I would love to see an interesting weekly one like Mayhem and things like that, where everybody goes into it without any weapons.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
And then has to pick them up in the map.
Yeah.
Like it would, like an old school Halo arena shooter.
Yeah, they need to make. I think they should make momentum control like something that you can pick all the time too.
And big team battle.
I see that would be cool, like a 12v12 or something. Something. I mean, that would be nuts.
I think they would have to
first
wait.
light on the moon.
Right. I think they would have to wait for that until Witch Queen. Next consoles and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think they could do it though, and it would be really cool to have a big team battle.
It would be nuts
with vehicles.
Yeah.
Like have the
and
tanks.
With supers, like I would thunder crash a super.
Yeah.
Like I mean, thunder crash a freaking tank. Like that'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah. I would also love to see a PvE mode that has 12 players.
That'd be nuts.
Imagine if you had something that was basically like a survival mode and how long you could make it.
Yeah, a horde mode.
Yeah. I'm basically a horde mode. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a big horde mode.
Where you're just like a team of 12 and
like escalation. Because escalation did 9.
Right.
Like
yeah, exactly.
Make a match made
crazy one like that.
Yeah, make a match made horde mode that with 12 players. That'd be wild.
What if they just took what they already have? Like maybe they bring back escalation protocol and then they also
match made.
Yeah, and they bring back they use the what's the section on the moon called?
First light?
No, the area where you do the different portals. They spawn throughout the different nightmares spawn, and you have to kill the nightmares before they enter the different stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And you can get 3 different weapons from it. You can get apostate from it.
Yeah, it's in the north part of the map.
Yeah, we all know what it is.
Why am I?
I can't think
Sorrows. Of it. Sorrows Harbor.
Sorrows Harbor.
What is that mode? I don't know what that mode is.
Well, you know,
Whatever.
everyone knows. Wow, we are really struggling today. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We're tired. That's no excuse, but you know what we're talking about.
The
thing that happens in Sorrows Harbor with the Hive and the Nightmares. But yeah, things like that and escalation protocol, and just make a match made, like you said. And just have it like 12 people and just make the bosses way harder.
Oh, way harder.
And and then you get adept versions of what you unlock from that.
Be super sick.
Adept Seraph weapons?
Mm-hmm.
That would be sick.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I mean that's all. Like they have content they could rehash in different seasons. Like imagine if that was the seasonal activity.
It'd be mind blowing. People would be like, "This is what we wanted it to be the first time around.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back and actually making it amazing."
Yeah, just like rethink what you've already created because there's so much potential in what you have.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and that brings me back to just bringing more stuff from D1. There's so much potential in everything they did.
D1 stuff is better than no stuff.
Yeah.
So if their option is, okay, we could bring a couple of things back from D1, or we just don't have time to really do anything.
Right.
Okay, just bring the D1 stuff back.
Absolutely.
We would rather have that.
Right. And I think in the end, what they've done really well, I think, already in this season is establish a better community connection than they've had anytime before.
And their response to stuff has been so much better. Like
quick.
Like in the TWAB, they've already readjusted the TWAB from today. They already readjusted the Warlock melee, which honestly felt really bad after they nerfed it in the stasis. Like it felt like it could only go like 5 meters. They said they gave it like 37% more back to its range, which I think is now a happy medium.
Yeah.
And feels much better.
Yeah.
Right? And they did that so quickly.
Man, Bungie, one other thing you need to do quickly for us here. That Titan melee has such bad target acquisition. It's so bad.
It's
like you'll just
PvE,
fly past.
In PvE, it's bad.
In PvE, it's bad, but I mean, like even in PvP, if you're a little too close to somebody, you'll just fly by them.
No, I think it's fine in PvP because it takes more skill, but I think in PvE, you should be able to just like click it and smash whatever's in front of you.
And you like fly between things.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Like, I think that in PvE, it should just, whatever's in your path gets killed, and then the final thing you hit gets killed too.
Yeah.
It's so bad in PvE.
Or at least slows something in PvE.
Yeah, something.
If you go by it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that kind of brings us to the conclusion of our conversation, where the reality is Bungie's doing a great job.
Yeah, it feels
good.
And
I think having Joe Blackburn at the helm of a lot more here is a really good decision.
Yeah.
Because one thing Destiny has almost never messed up on, besides the Spire of Stars, is raids.
Yeah.
I mean, even Spire of Stars. I mean,
it's still a good. It was really hard.
It's really hard,
good.
And it's weird, but it's still not bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody's ever said anything about a raid like, this is really disappointing. This is really bad.
Oh yeah.
Like even Argus.
I don't think anyone said that. Yeah.
Like Argos. I mean, I just said Argus, which is a planet in WoW. Shows my nerdom there a little bit. But yeah, I think that having somebody who's already proven themselves back on the top,
and kind of doing rewards, which is cool.
And by the way, if anybody was watching the Game Awards tonight, poor Luke Smith is looking disheveled again. Let's all pray for
my man's needs a haircut.
Luke Smith. I just think he's working himself to death.
He probably is. Yeah.
But anyways, thanks to Bungie. We're looking forward to the future and these next-gen updates and everything that's coming with Witch Queen and over this year. I mean, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So everybody, thanks for listening to Praedyth Party Chat. We'll catch you next week.
Guardians make their own fate.
Guardians make their own fate. Bye.